So this is my friend David, and today we're going to talk about a lot of the things that went down in the Nets trade, who won. He's a big Nets fan, so it'd be perfect for him. So right now we're going to talk about Kyrie. In your opinion, do you think he's going to be able to play this year?
I think definitely he will. Every single day, the governor is getting lighter and lighter with the restrictions. So I think definitely he'll be able to play this year.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. They've been letting him play in a lot of the games recently, and each game he plays is a fine. So, which obviously the Nets can cover because it's not a big fine. But as of recently, he hasn't been able to play too much. But now that the governor's coming out saying all these things that he doesn't really care as much if Kyrie plays, he definitely wants Kyrie to play because they want to win a championship at the end of the day. So I think it's just a few tweaks here and there, and they'll definitely be good to go on letting Kyrie play. I mean, because when Kyrie plays, that team is definitely championship level. You got to see what this whole Ben Simmons thing where it could bring them to, but I definitely think he's going to be able to play, if not by the end of the year, but definitely by the playoffs, because he can play in opposing teams' stadiums. So
especially if he could sit on the court, he could sit on the court now.
Exactly, they allow him to sit on the court, but they don't allow him to play. It makes no sense to me. It really doesn't. But if he does play, where does that put the Nets?
Championship level.
They're like, what are they, sixth place right now, something like that? Down there, they're not up.
They're struggling right now.
Yeah, definitely
but
struggling.
I mean, they're playing with basically their G League team.
Exactly. They did get KD back last night though.
KD.
He did
Joe
nice.
Harris isn't coming back.
Yeah, he's out season-ending injury. Sad. Yeah, but you think that could take them past
100%.
all the teams?
I
in
mean,
the East?
the Suns scare me.
In the East. You think they'll clear the East
Sixers, Sixers is the only thing.
Yeah. It's scary. Definitely scary. You think it'll be taken past the Bucks at all after last year?
I think our only competition is the Sixers now. Once everyone comes back and if Kyrie plays.
Really?
And if Simmons plays, yes.
Yeah, I would love to see how Simmons is going to be able to play just because he hasn't played in so long. So
I think he'll ball.
You think so? Yeah.
Definitely.
And I was watching something that said that they think Simmons is going to fit perfectly in with the Nets because when he was with Philly, he had to play the point guard, right? No one else could really bring up the ball and be an actual point guard. So that's not his natural position. You know, he's 6'10". He's a power forward center. He can definitely he definitely has the skills that point guards have, but that's not his natural position. So last year in the playoffs when he was scared to shoot, it's a lot of pressure on him. Now he's a defensive beast as well. So now with him having Kyrie and he can just relax and play off the ball, score down low, play defense. That's what the Nets were missing. I know you tell me a lot.
Defense, and he's an amazing facilitator.
That's very true.
He's averaging at least 8 assists a game, which is crazy.
And when you think about it, you give up Harden, a high-level scorer, with very poor defense for someone who completely flip-flops it around. But he can also play on offense, Simmons. So you're getting a really good chunk of return, and you already have two offensive beasts in KD and Kyrie. Mm-hmm. So it's really not that bad when you think about it.
Yeah, Seth, Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. So in my opinion, we definitely won that trade.
Now, you think when, let's say, Simmons comes back in 2-3 weeks, a month, whatever it may be, and come playoff time when they start playing together, do they have good chemistry? Does that scare you at all, or
time will tell?
They can come together and they
that's the hardest thing. They're all
up all the time.
That's the hardest thing. Like chemistry with them, I feel like could be hard because they're all head cases at the end of the day. Kyrie head case, Ben Simmons head case, KD is in the middle. So, I mean, time will tell if they really do have chemistry, which I think they do, but time will tell.
That's true. And I think with them having a veteran, all those guys are pretty much veterans, but having a veteran with KD level of knowledge and everything, I think he'll be able to hold them together. Kyrie is 100% a head case. Ben Simmons doesn't scare me as much just because as long as he's happy and nothing's bothering him, he's not getting made fun of, he's very soft. So if none of that's happening to him, I think that they don't really have to worry about anything with Simmons. He just wants to play. Kyrie wants to play too, but he needs everything his way. So, but I think KD's going to really be on them, and I think that they're going to be able to gel together eventually.
Definitely.
So, all right. Ben Simmons and the Nets struggles. Is he going to be able to play soon, Ben? Do you think he's getting back onto the court?
he was getting back, and then I heard he tweaked his back or something like that.
Yeah.
So I really don't know.
And that just comes with not playing in so long too.
Exactly.
He doesn't work out. You're gonna try and rush yourself back, and you're gonna get hurt.
You're gonna get hurt.
So I don't understand why he just wasn't working out. Yeah, he said it was a little too much for him mentally. This, that. He just needs to. He's very soft. You could, because you were trying to get traded, so now you get traded to a team and you're happy, and now you gotta wait because you weren't putting in any work. If he was just putting in any bit of work, he would. I don't think this injury would have happened because he was just so sore, so out of it. It wasn't good. And now his confidence level. Do you think that now that when he was playing with the Sixers, he was the second option behind Embiid, but he was still worried because, him having to play the point guard position, come up clutch, he can't shoot. Do you think with him being, I guess we call it the third option on this Nets team, do you think his confidence is going to be calm enough? He's going to be smooth because he doesn't have to worry about all that big pressure. He can just play his game. How do you think that's going to fit in?
100%. Most of the weight's going to be on KD and Kyrie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, putting him in the mix is completely just going to bring it to the next level, and his confidence will skyrocket completely.
Right.
Unless he thinks he wants to be the main scorer, which I don't think he does at this point. He knows he can't really score that well, but he knows how to play amazing defense and knows how to facilitate the ball.
Right.
So, I think his confidence will definitely go up.
Right. Now, on the other hand, if his confidence is still at the same level where he's shaky, he doesn't want to shoot the ball, he's afraid to take layups in clutch moments, how does that affect this team? Because they just gave away James Harden, and now you got to get KD and Kyrie mad at him all the time.
I don't know. I think because I feel like KD does it with all the young players on our team. Just hype them up. Tell them to shoot the ball. Tell them to do this, do that.
Yeah.
I think that will definitely not make him all shaky and stuff like he was in Philly.
Right. Yeah, I know. There was a clip of KD, I believe, to Joe Harris when he passed up the open shot in the corner, and KD went up to him and told him to shoot it.
Same with Cam Thomas.
Exactly. So I think KD will be able to keep his confidence level at a good rate, but if he doesn't have his confidence, that could lead to a real quick playoff exit.
Exactly.
And now, what happens then? You gotta re-sign guys. You gotta start over, and all these Nets fans gonna be year after year after year that they're not winning.
It's the same thing over and over again, but
yep.
I mean, hopefully it comes together.
A lot of stuff could go wrong from that trade. So, when do you think he comes back?
I think within the month.
Within the month? Yeah, I think it depends on how serious his injury is.
I think he'll be back within a month.
Right, because we know he's very soft too. So
that is true.
He might milk it, but he might really want to be eager to play now that he's off the Sixers team. So, and Philly fans are much worse than Brooklyn fans. So I think that he'll be able to handle it. He's not going to be as afraid of the big time pressure. So I think he comes back within the month as well. But you think he fits well with this new Nets roster, or you think James Harden was a better fit?
I think he fits right in. No, I think he fits right in. I mean, Harden was obviously a really good fit, but I mean, you can't really have three guys that just want to keep scoring the ball over and over and over again. I mean, they're all gonna have. They all think. I mean, they're all superstars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like you can't really have three crazy superstars on one team because one's gonna think better than the other, and then they're who's gonna shoot the ball, who's gonna pass the ball. I don't think you can have that. You gotta have good role players and at least one or two superstars, but three, no.
Right, because nowadays in the championship, you need at least two superstars and all-stars.
Exactly.
Just to compete.
Yeah, just to compete.
So I think they're definitely all all-stars. KD's a superstar. Kyrie is a superstar when healthy. Ben Simmons, if he plays to his potential, is a superstar, in my opinion.
I think that trade just completely.
I think it was very even on both teams because you have KD. You have Embiid and Simmons, who Embiid was the only one playing. He wasn't playing with anyone, and they were still at like the third, fourth seed in the East. Now that you got rid of a lot: Seth Curry, Ben Simmons, Drummond, 2 firsts, but you got back James Harden, who's top 5 player in the NBA, and he's healthy. He's playing, so that just elevates your team a lot because they're in win now mode. They don't care about the first round picks. It really doesn't bother them.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the Nets got a defender that they've been needing very badly, who's also a very good player. Let's not only call him a defensive player, he's a very good player. So I think they both worked out for them. Seth Curry's been playing really well. Who knows what those first 2-round picks are going to be? They'll probably be higher in the rounds, but
And Seth Curry basically replaced Joe Harris. They both do the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
They both can shoot the lights out.
Right.
And nowadays, I feel like you really, really need good role players. Like, look at the Suns.
Mm-hmm. Now, Seth Curry, since we're on this topic, let's jump to this one. Is he the hidden gem in this trade? Because, yes, you got Ben Simmons, you got everyone else that we've been talking about, but Ben Simmons isn't playing right now. Those 2 first-round picks aren't playing right now.
Drummond and Seth Curry were really...
Drummond's playing well, but Seth Curry, through the 5 games with the Nets, he's averaging 19.2 points on 57.7% shooting. And from 3, he's shooting 47.4% and 80% from the free throw line. He's been putting up some real nice. Just you wouldn't even think of it. You're thinking so much on Ben Simmons. Now you got Seth Curry. He's dropping 20 a night. That's a good chunk of points.
And Drummond's grabbing at least 10 boards a game. Mm-hmm. With 8 points, 10 points. I mean that goes a lot at the end. And
Seth isn't shooting 5 for 30 every night. He's shooting at a very high percent. He's making over 50% of his shot. He's making almost 60% of his shots.
Drummond and Seth were definitely the 2 gems of that trade completely. And we desperately needed a center because we really do not have a dominant center on our team.
Right.
Like LaMarcus Aldridge isn't really a center; he's a power forward.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Claxton's always hurt, so we really needed a guy.
Effective when he's in, though. Definitely effective.
Very effective. But...
Mm-hmm. And the recent step up of Cam Thomas.
Oh, he's amazing. I've always loved Cam Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I was always a fan.
Yeah, I remember watching him at LSU. I thought he definitely fell in the draft, which I was very surprised about. But I don't watch a lot of Nets games like David does. So, but how has he been impacting the Nets recently?
After all these injuries, he's really stepped up. Mm-hmm. He's really become the scorer on our team because I feel like he really when he has the ball in his hands, he wants to shoot it. You could tell every single time.
Right.
And he goes to work.
Right. And he's definitely not afraid of those big moments. No. I've seen him. I see clips of him here and there, but I've seen him through the whole game of the Knicks versus Nets recently. It was a tie game. He wanted that ball. Boom, step back, 3. Makes it in clutch time. That puts him up by 3. The next play he gets it, he wants it again. Boom, another step back 3. Ices the game with like 5 seconds left. They'll go up by 6. He's definitely not afraid of those big moments, and he's definitely a clutch time player. Definitely a clutch player. But it's definitely needed the recent help of other players that you wouldn't think in this trade when times that they got rid of Harden for someone who's not playing but is going to get there soon. But speaking of Harden, is the duo of Harden and Embiid better than the trio of Simmons, KD, and Kyrie? What do you think? Because they've been playing some real good basketball, and we don't know what KD, Kyrie, and Simmons is going to be until we see them all.
I think you can't at this point in time. You really can't compare them because obviously Simmons, KD, and Kyrie haven't played, so you don't know who's going to do better. But Harden and Embiid and Maxi's having an amazing year. But they're a really good team. They're a very good team.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that because Harden's been averaging almost 30. He's averaging basically a triple-double in Philly. And Embiid's as happy as can be because he got rid of Simmons for someone with this type of talent. And they're winning games. That's the biggest thing. They're winning. They've
won every game I think they played together.
Yeah, it's ridiculous the talent that they bring to the table, especially the pick and pop. You know, it's very, very hard to guard. What's his name? Harden. Sorry, it's very hard to guard Harden. So you do a pick and pop. You're either going to double team Harden or he's going to get to the hole. You double team Harden, you leave Joel Embiid open, and that man could shoot. Or if he drives, it's not easy to stop him. So you got to pick your poison. Then you have guys like Tobias Harris. You got even Matisse Thybulle's been playing good lately. So they have a lot of players in that team who bring a lot more to the table now that they're mainly focused. They're not only focused on Embiid anymore. They're also very focused on Harden, which is a big plus in Philly. So the way they're playing together, who won this trade? The way Harden and Embiid are playing together, who won this trade?
As of right now, Philly won the trade.
I agree, yep.
Because, Simmons hasn't played yet. But I think later on, 100% the Nets won the trade. Later on in time, long term, Nets 100% won that trade.
Yep,
Because, I mean, look at Harden. Harden, who knows? Maybe Harden wants out of Philly in a year.
that's true.
Just like he did with the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think his contract's up at the end of the year anyway.
Exactly. So you gave away all those pieces for what? I mean, obviously you wanna run for the title, but
win now mode. Yep.
But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Nets definitely won that long term. But right now, Philly definitely has.
As long as the Nets don't clash heads, like, oh, I'm better than you, I'm the superstar in this team, give me the ball, oh, I want to shoot. As long as they're not clashing heads like that, I think with the defensive intensity that Ben Simmons brings, you can't guard Kyrie, you can't guard KD. It's going to be impossible because now you have a 20-point scorer that they brought in Simmons, who now can play defense and offense instead of just no defense with Harden. So I think down the road, everyone's healthy once they start flowing together. I mean, we're gonna have to wait till I think the probably second round of the playoffs before we can really judge because they need to get their time to mesh. But it seems like Harden and Embiid are really meshing together very, very well. And the biggest thing is they're happy because you could be meshing well together and be miserable. Who wants to go out there? Yeah, I can score 40, you can score 50, but I hate you.
Exactly.
You see them in the post-game press conferences. They're smiling, hugging. It's awesome. It really is. So, Dave, down the road, Eastern Conference Finals, who's winning, Nets or Sixers? And how many games?
I mean, it all depends on
everyone's healthy, let's say. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's healthy, yep. Philly's putting up their numbers.
I'd say Nets in 7.
Nets in 7?
I think they'll go all the way 7 games.
Close game or
close game?
Yeah.
Close game. That they're even teams because I mean like they got 2 superstars both teams, but then they got the good role players, really good role players.
Exactly.
That really just
you gotta think of it like this: KD and Embiid, they match up. Harden and Kyrie, they match up. Now who's matching up on Simmons? You gotta throw Tobias Harris. Maybe you put. I think they'll have Matisse Thybulle guard him because he's so long. But also Harden's not gonna be able to guard Kyrie at the end of the day. So I think the Nets do pull that one out in Game 7 as well. That's what I had actually. But definitely this year's Eastern Conference race is so close because the Eastern Conference has gotten so good, and teams like the Cavs, even the Bulls, they were all right last year, but were they second place right now? Miami first place. Absolute units that the East is turning into. I'm excited. I really am because you don't know who the heck. I would like to see Cavs versus the Grizzlies in the finals.
I'd love to see that. I mean, you really never know. I mean, when you got superstars that are always hurt, I mean, your record's obviously not going to be that good in the regular season. But once the postseason comes, then true colors come out.
Exactly. You'll see those guys who want to be there. Now, Game 7, Nets win. Who's the MVP of that series?
KD.
KD?
KD.
Yeah.
KD 100%. Always. I'm riding with him. KD's winning that MVP.
Can't argue with that. You really can't.
You can't.
Yeah, because Kyrie is nice, but KD, you can't. He's 7 feet. Got the handles of a point guard. Can shoot over anybody.
Insane.
Now Sixers win. Who's MVP of that? Harden or Embiid? Who you think is going to be the more outstanding?
That's even. I think say Embiid.
Yeah.
Embiid. Definitely.
I think Embiid's much more of a dominant factor in the fact that if he's 5 feet or closer, there's no way of stopping him. Yeah. Harden can have off nights if he's not shooting well. You just got to get in his head. He's a very mentally weak player, in my opinion. So I think, but Embiid he's a dog. No one's getting in his head at all. And if you do get into his head, it's just I'd feel bad because he's just gonna get angry and he's gonna dunk on you. But all right, let's get off this Nets topics now. I want to talk about the Denver Nuggets. So recent news is Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are coming back soon. So when they come back, the Nuggets are fully healthy. Are they better than teams like the Suns, the Warriors, like those teams in the Grizzlies, those teams like that in the West?
No.
No?
I'd say they're up there, like top 4.
Because they're 5th place right now with Jokic.
That's true. But, I mean, they're coming off – Jamal Murray's coming off a torn ACL. I think it was ACL.
Right.
And Porter Jr. had something. What would he do?
He tweaked his back.
His back, right?
Yeah, and that's true because you never know.
Big injuries. I mean, you never know if they're really going to come back as dominant as they were before.
Right. And that's why Porter fell in the draft. Because I remember we drafted Kevin Knox that year. We were picking 9th, 6th. I think it was 9th. Because Colin Sexton went to the Cavs right before us. I believe he was 8th. And I was screaming at the TV, we got to pick Michael Porter. We got to pick him. He fell all the way to 14.
Yeah.
I thought that was a steal, but with that back injury now, it's starting to reoccur. That's definitely an issue.
Definitely.
You don't know. So Jokic at the end of the day is going to play how Jokic plays. So I don't see them slipping past the 5th seed. But if Jamal Murray can come back, he'll probably be a step slower just because that ACL. But if he can play at like half his potential, I think that they fall right outside the top 3. I'm gonna have
100%,
Suns,
100%.
Warriors, Grizzlies, Nuggets. But if once they start to flow back into it, because it's kind of near the end of the season now.
No one can beat the Suns right now.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
their team is dirt. I just watched them last night against the Knicks. No Devin Booker, no Chris Paul, and that team was still. I mean, granted it was against the Knicks, but that team was
they just
still
have amazing
very good
chemistry.
fundamental team, and their players, they're good. They really are.
They don't really have like. I mean, they have.
They don't have superstars.
They don't have superstars talent, like
Mm-hmm.
superstar talent, and
Mm-hmm.
they still know how to win games. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, now in the scenario that, because we know that when MPJ and Jamal Murray come back, they're not going to be fully healthy right away. They're not going to be back to them full selves. Let's say they are, right? Magically that they come back and they're good. Do they come out of the West and win it and are in the championship?
No.
No? You still think what teams do you think that they'll beat and that they'll lose?
I mean, I definitely think they can make it to at least the quarterfinals of the West, but
Right.
I don't think
first round.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think they're beating teams like the Warriors and the Suns and
Mm-hmm.
even the Grizzlies. In my opinion, I don't think they're beating those type of teams, especially with the way Ja's playing. No
Right.
way.
I feel like a potential first round matchup is Nuggets versus Jazz.
Oh, 100%.
Jazz are good too,
I mean,
but they don't have Joe
no.
Ingles anymore.
They could. I think they
shooters.
could definitely beat the Jazz. I think.
Right.
The Jazz are good, but
Mm-hmm.
with that type of talent, they definitely beat the Jazz. But I don't know about the Warriors and,
Mm-hmm.
and the Suns and the Grizzlies.
Yeah, definitely agree there. Because the West is a lot of teams that you didn't think were going to be up there. Like the Grizzlies is the biggest one that pops in the mind for me. John Morant's just having a spectacular season. So a lot of teams like that have a lot of grit now. Not even that they have the best players in the world. They just have a lot of determination that they knew last year they weren't supposed to be here. And now that they're there, they don't ever want to drop out of that. So I think that it's definitely going to be a real good matchup between all the teams.
100%.
Now, in recent news, Isaiah Thomas has signed a 10-day contract with the Hornets. His first game back, I believe he dropped 14 points. And he's 14, 5, and 5, which is a pretty good stat for a man like him.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So, is he going to get signed to the Hornets, do you think?
I mean, if he's putting up numbers like that, 100%.
Yeah?
100%.
I think he's definitely going to be a good fit on whatever team he goes to, just because.
Or not even if he gets re-signed. Teams are going to see that.
Mm-hmm. Because he's been putting up 45 points a game in the G League.
I know.
So I think teams are just a little nervous to pick him up for whatever reason, but someone has to give him a chance because a few years ago he was top 4 in MVP voting. He's a real good player. So I think that he does get signed to the Hornets, I think. Or I don't know. I don't know about the Hornets, but I think he does get signed to them at the end of the year. I don't think it's going to be a good fit for them because they already have LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier. So how does he fit in there? I just think the Hornets are going to sign him for some reason for the rest of the season. But I just don't think it's a good fit for him.
For him specifically, yeah, but I mean, he's still putting up numbers.
Right.
So
exactly. So
there's
how is that going to affect the Hornets? Because LaMelo Ball is your starting point guard.
Yeah.
He's going to get his minutes. He was an All-Star this year. Terry Rozier, he's a good player.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a good
So one of them's going to have to lose time for Isaiah Thomas to get in there. But now, let's say Isaiah Thomas is in the game with LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier. Who's playing off the ball? LaMelo Ball is going to be like, this is my team. I want to bring the ball up. Isaiah Thomas hasn't really had to play off the ball in any of his years that he's been good. So how does he fit?
I mean, I feel like they could put him at like the shooting guard type of thing. Well, I mean, it's not always the point guard's got to bring up the ball, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, it's not like I don't think they'll lose times per se, but I mean, they'll definitely lose a couple opportunities to score.
Right. I think if they're able to figure it out, then they'll be lethal, because I think Isaiah Thomas is going to be so destined to get on a team because he wants to be on it so bad. I think that he's going to be like, okay, you want me to play off the ball? Because he has no ego to begin with right now. He's playing in G League overseas. He's like, you want me to play off the ball? I'm going to learn how to play off the ball. I'm going to watch film. Like, look at Curry, right? Everyone thinks he's such a ball-dominant player. If you really break down Curry's film, he's getting like double team, triple team. He has to work so hard every play to get off that ball, off the when he's playing off ball, to get off the screens, off the defender, catch the ball. So I think he will be able to, if he does get signed, I think he'll be able to fit in well, given time, obviously. Yeah. But I just think for guys like LaMelo Ball and Terry Rozier, they'll be a little like offended, like, well, we're a really good backcourt.
Yeah.
Why you bringing another guard that we don't need? So, gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Now, if he does get signed, any team, does he get playing time?
I mean, as long as he's if he's balling, he will get playing time.
Right. But
so,
like a lot of teams, like let's say the Knicks, right? Thibodeau, in his mind, he can trade for Steph Curry. Let's just call it. And his mindset is, okay, he needs to earn his playing time. So let's say he gets signed, Isaiah Thomas gets signed to a team, he might have to earn his playing time. Next thing you know, the season's over, and he starts getting a few minutes a game. He has to hope he gets signed till next year. If he gets signed till next year and he has time to work with the team, I think he's gonna get his minutes, and he's gonna play really, really well, in my opinion. I just think he needs time, because him being a short guy, I believe 5'9", in the NBA, but in the NBA,
that's like a
midget. With that size, he's gonna if he was 6'5" and came in with his talent, he would get playing time. But he's gonna need time to figure out, how am I gonna play on this team? How does this person work? How does that person work? Okay, I know I can shoot from here, so I'm gonna do it. But a lot of coaches are a little hesitant to want him to throw him in right away, because it's not like he can be a dominant force as soon as he gets in there. But let's say he doesn't get signed to the Hornets. What team do you think is in need to pick him up?
Any team in playoff contention that needs somewhat.
So you think a playoff team?
100%. Yeah. No crappy team's gonna pick him up for no reason. I think definitely a playoff contending team's gonna pick him up.
Yeah. Honestly, what I was thinking, I wasn't even thinking of a playoff team. I feel like a good fit for some reason would be the Rockets.
No way.
Just because they don't really have who's their point guard? They don't even have a point guard. That's notable. They have Jalen Green, shooting guard.
They don't play older guys. Like, they traded all their older guys away. They play all their young guys. Every single one. Even if an older guy's better, they play the younger guys.
That's true.
Because their season's thrown away already.
That's
gone.
true.
Completely.
I just thought that, since their season is thrown away so badly, that it wouldn't hurt for them to pick him up, and they don't really have a great team, so he can fit in well. They don't have a lot of good guards. He can mentor Jalen Green. I think that they'd be able to fit in well together. But so we're gonna wrap it up here. Who are your top 5 MVPs in the league? Because I think Ja Morant is the best player in the league, and I've been seeing that a lot of rankings, MVP rankings, have him as like the 4th player. But right now, they have Jokic and Embiid as the top 2. Right now, I think Ja's the best player in the world. So, like, just the way he's been playing. So, question 1, is Ja the best player in the world? And then give me your 5 MVPs.
Nah, Ja's not the best player in the world, I don't think.
Really?
Nah. He's playing, he's going crazy this year, but not even close.
Really?
I think it's Jokic, Embiid, Antetokounmpo, Steph, then Ja.
Really?
Ja's 5.
I just like watching him. He's just so
energetic
every time.
He is.
Like, what? Can you take him off that team?
Nothing. Terrible. But
that's just why.
But you got to look at the
Jokic. I
all
could
these
see.
Guys,
I could definitely see
really
that. But
like Jokic carries.
But when I was jotting these notes down, I was thinking that to myself too. You take Ja off this Grizzlies team, they're terrible. You take Jokic off this Nuggets team, they're terrible too. Yeah. So I look at the standings. Nuggets are in 5th place. Grizzlies are in 3rd place. So I was just thinking that Ja had a little more effect on his team.
True. I think Ja has a little bit more weapons per se than Jokic does at this point in time.
That's true.
That's true. I think Ja's having a career year.
Yeah.
career year.
Nuts. And just to think that he didn't really have any big D1 offers coming out of high school, too. He didn't even come out his freshman year. He had to stay till sophomore year. It's nuts. It's nuts to think about.
He kind of reminds me of like Cooper Kupp. He's having that type of year.
Right.
Like career year, but he's still.
Comparison.
But he's not gonna. He's not. I mean, Cooper Kupp, top 5 wide receiver now, yeah. But I mean, he's not the best receiver, right?
Right. So
Ja's not the best player.
John Morant's the Cooper Kupp of the NBA.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Because you look at it, they're third place in the West, the Grizzlies. Ja's throwing up 27.6 points per game, 1.2 steals, 6.6 assists, 6 rebounds, 50% field goal. So I think he's definitely in the topic for the
100%
conversation. But my top MVPs, I have. When I was writing this, I had DeMar DeRozan as my 1, which I know a lot of people think is crazy, but he's just.
I say
I
he's
don't know,
like
he's
6 or 7
unguardable. That mid-range shot is disgusting. Then 2's Ja, 3's Jokic, 4's Embiid, and 5 is D-Book. Now my honorable mentions: Chris Paul, Giannis, Jimmy Butler, and when healthy, LeBron. The reason I had Giannis off my list was because I just feel like the Bucks are just expected to be so high now, and not even because of Giannis. You got Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, you got your Grayson Allen, you got your shooters Pat Covington. Bobby Portis is playing well. So I just felt like, and I was looking at the standings. Yes, Giannis is one of the best players in the league. Don't get me wrong, but I just felt like they should be. I don't think there's an excuse not to be in first place now.
Yeah.
So, real quick, do the Bulls have a shot at the title? Because a lot of people call them phony contenders.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
phony. I agree with that.
Phony?
Other than, I mean. I don't know if phony, actually. I mean, I say they do have it somewhat of a shot, but they're not winning it. No way. I feel like everyone on their team has never had that type of experience of even being in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just a lot of really, really good role players that really haven't had
young good players that they need that one vet. They brought Tristan Thompson onto the Bulls now. That could be definitely a veteran move because he's won championships, been in the playoffs a lot. And to end it off, give me your top 5 favorite players to watch in the NBA.
Ja, Kyrie, Steph, Katie, and I'd say, you know what, let's go, damn, I don't know.
Tricky, right?
It is tricky. I'd say like Jokic.
Jokic, yeah.
Because he's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Some
I
of
was
these
going to
guys
say LaMelo Ball to throw him in there because he's just so
LaMelo,
yeah, young, fun. Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you, bro.
Yep.
Appreciate it.